So I think there's a couple of practical outcomes of the Traveltech for Scotland initiative. And they fall into almost two categories. One is how can some of the technology solutions or packages that have been developed in Scotland be practically applied now by companies, tourism companies, tourism businesses that are struggling to help them manage infection whilst also opening up. So stuff that already exists being used in Scottish tourism businesses. And that could be things from using technology to help maintain social distancing, using sensors, or it could be around when you go to a hotel, being able to check in completely contactlessly, being able to get your key and get into your room without actually having to interact with too many other people. It could be about ordering your food without, again, reducing the amount of time you have to spend with people, so maintain that sort of social distance. There's loads of other examples around where technology could be used for this moment as well. But the other part is about innovating. And I think that's where Scotland's travel tech pioneers, as we call them, can start to look at some of the specific problems where there may not be solutions now. There's some really good examples of that. I think one of them is how do you do better, almost integrated booking? So if you go to up to maybe near Inverness, or if you go to the North Coast 500, or if you go anywhere, maybe in Fife, and you are staying in either a campsite or a B&B or a hotel, but you also want to book all of the activities so you know what you're doing, you can build an itinerary. Now, we know there's some technological solutions do that, but they might not be doing it for those particular areas. So how can some of our travel tech innovators start developing new services for these destinations? Others could be around the problem of multiple bookings or not turning up to bookings. How can we help protect the revenue of some of these hotels or restaurants to be actually, so that they don't keep on getting people not turning up and then they lose money. And that's a big risk for them. So, raising these challenges to travel tech pioneers to address.
Those kind of examples that you just mentioned, do those come out of kind of your own research and the research of your colleagues, or are they kind of ideas that have sprung from some of the organisations that are going to potentially be involved?
I think the best ideas or innovative ideas come from a mixture of different people coming together. So yeah, absolutely right. University research is coming up with some great stuff, especially data-driven innovation. University of Edinburgh is great at that, but so are a lot of the Scottish universities. A lot of the companies that do innovation may never have actually engaged with university, and that's because they're coming up with great innovative ideas from their own experience. And then a lot of this sort of these new ideas come also from the tourism businesses themselves, who have problems, who have specific needs, and understand the customer better than anyone else. So what I hope Travel Tech for Scotland will be able to do is just build a community between all those three groups. So it brings some of those tech moguls together with tourism businesses who are working practically on the ground, with researchers at university around the specific problems and needs of tourism right now, which, as we know, is undergoing one of the greatest, if not the greatest challenges it has, especially in a modern era. And, what I think and what I hope will come out of this Travel Tech for Scotland initiative is that you will find new solutions that work here in Scotland that have been maybe fueled a little bit by university research, led by some of these great innovators, but being practically applied to help Scotland now, and hopefully then can grow to an international profile later. I was speaking to a great academic at the University of Edinburgh, Professor Ben Spiegel, and he looks at entrepreneurial ecosystems, or basically how do we get good new companies. And it is all about people collaborating. It's all about people right from those delivering to those doing pure research, looking at some maybe crazy new tech systems with people who are creating those companies. And if they are all working together openly and collaboratively, then that's how good stuff happens. And that's what we want to happen with Travel Tech Scotland.